It takes a special person to choose to work with older adults. You do it because you care. If you're like other people doing this important work, there are days when you wish you knew how to help even more, how to help bring out the wisdom and experience of seniors, and how to help them live life to the fullest extent possible. The purpose of this video is to help enable you to take that next step. Bounce Back Beds and Assisted Living is a new option in senior care that enables you to make a difference in the lives of those you care about in new, exciting, and rewarding ways. In addition, it provides a valuable new product that both increases the success and profitability of your organization. In the 16 and 1700s, almshouses began as a place to house those who were too poor to live on their own. It included adults of all ages, especially senior citizens who did not have the funds or relatives to help them care for themselves. Many of these almshouses were poorhouses or workhouses that simply made room for the elderly who were unable to care for themselves. By the 1800s, the care had evolved to homes for the aged. In these homes designed for the elderly, 30 to 50 adults stayed in a home together. The caveat was that they had to be able to be independent enough to care for their own rooms and to help out. Just after the turn of the century, the Great Depression hit, and a large number of senior citizens found that they lost most everything. In 1935, Roosevelt's administration introduced Social Security to provide emergency and long-term help. Homes for the aged began to offer nursing care, and the whole industry took a step forward. 15 years later, in 1946, the Hill-Burton Act was passed that provided funds to build hospitals and nursing homes that were connected to those hospitals. 8 years later, an amendment was passed that gave nonprofit organizations the funds to also build nursing homes. Within a few years, such homes were widely available, though mainly for the poor. 3 or 4 residents often occupied each room, with very little privacy. In 1965, Medicare and Medicaid came into existence, and amendments made intermediate care a reality. The recession of 1980 and an increased emphasis on patient-centered care brought investors into the industry. The broadening of services paved the way for senior living apartments designed to provide both housing and hospitality. Assisted living, as we know it today, was launched. Patient-centered care increasingly focused upon seniors' preferences, needs, values, and choices. The focus had shifted from the caregiver to the resident. Around 2010, the next step in the industry was taken as units dedicated to memory care were established. The population with dementia was cared for in a setting that was light years ahead of the industry just decades earlier. Again, those who were seeking to serve the needs of the elderly had raised the bar for senior care. So, what's next? The next step in the evolution to improve service to seniors is Bounce Back Beds in Assisted Living. Bounce Back Beds combines continued outpatient or home health rehabilitation with a new strategy for personal care that's designed to support therapy goals. It finds creative ways to get over the barriers to seniors reclaiming independent living. The program seeks to address three basic needs that are found among America's senior citizens. 90% of America's seniors cannot afford a permanent long-term stay in assisted living. A significant number of older adults have the potential to return to independent living, but the current healthcare system often fails to provide the amount of rehabilitation, resources, focus, and creative strategies to return elders to that functional independence level they both need and desire. Ageist attitudes in society often lead to the expectation that older adults who hit a bump in the road cannot improve enough to reclaim their real potential. So often, they do not ever get the help they need to be able to bounce back and reclaim their independence. When older people become debilitated or have an injury, it's not unusual to need up to 6 months of fairly intensive rehabilitation to be able to successfully reclaim an adequate level of functioning to live independently. Too often, Medicare simply doesn't cover the intensity of inpatient care that's needed to achieve independence, especially if the problems are complex. Short-term, potentially fragmented coverage is not enough to return the elder to the level of functional independence that they are capable of achieving. And often there is an inadequate coordination between therapists and caregivers that can interfere with maximizing success. As a consequence, seniors who would have the potential to return to independent living are unable to realize their resiliency potential, forcing them to have to look for a way to have significant personal assistance. With 90% of the senior population in the country being unable to afford assisted living or intensive in-home care, this presents a serious problem. Bounce-back beds combine continued outpatient or home health rehabilitation with a new strategy for personal care that's designed to support therapy goals and find creative ways to get over the barriers to reclaim independent living. Bounce-back beds offers a valuable new resource for assisted living settings, attracting new residents for stays expected to last from 3 to 6 months. This program will offer assisted living settings the ability to potentially grow independent living by feeding it from bounce-back beds. Bounce-back beds also help provide long-term stability in the resident population by enabling those residents to exercise resiliency through a short bounce-back bed stay in assisted living. It helps them successfully return to their independent apartment. Bounce-back beds also provides a valuable discharge option for residents who have not quite met requirements to return and risk being lost to a skilled nursing facility permanently. During the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic, the state of Tennessee became increasingly aware of the number of older people who experienced serious debilitation when they became ill or injured. They often lacked access to the resources they needed to provide both the support and stimulation required to bounce back from their infirmities and reclaim independence. This created serious long-term living and financial challenges. These individuals were not eligible for Medicaid coverage and did not have enough money to pay for long-term assisted living or in-home care. However, many could have afforded independent senior living if they could improve enough for that option. The Senior Health Care Resiliency Program has provided funding to help train selected, licensed assisted care living facilities in Tennessee to develop such bounce-back beds. Based on the highly successful resiliency program designed and carried out for 15 years by Summit View in Chattanooga, the bounce-back beds and assisted living program provides the training and support for assisted living programs to successfully develop their own bounce-back beds. The Southeast Advocacy Center for Elder Rights, assisting with this project, brings together highly experienced professionals in senior care to provide guidance and resource materials to support staff development. It will also provide help in developing creative strategies, permitting the unique needs of residents to reclaim their potential. Working with Senior Alternatives Resiliency Care approaches, the Bounce Back Beds and Assisted Living Project will provide training and implementation support for 30 assisted living facilities in Tennessee that are selected for this program. This is a great opportunity for those who participate to help their team expand the service options they offer. It can help grow census while helping the elders you care about so much reclaim their resiliency, stretch their limited resources, and get their lives back. The new skills and ideas that you get from the training will also energize care teams, providing new skills and ideas for making your current services even more effective. Bounce Back Beds adds a much-needed option to our evolving senior services and meets the needs of elders we often have previously been unable to help. By adding Bounce Back Beds, senior living will be able to grow and expand in new ways, meeting the needs of the middle market that is seriously underserved with most of our current products. There is no fee for training and support in choosing to set up the Bounce Back Beds and licensed assisted living units in Tennessee. Participating programs must agree to implement and carry out the program over an 18 to 24-month period, supplying the project with simple monthly project data information. Designate 2 staff persons, with at least one being a nurse, to coordinate the project as part of their regular job duties. Coordinate the project, holding regular meetings with the Bounce Back project coordinators, both in person and online, to assure that the program is progressing successfully and to utilize any professional consultation that may be helpful. Participating facilities agree to cover the travel and lodging cost of 2 key staff attending the free 5-day Bounce Back Project Train the Trainers meeting. Programs agree to devote the time required on site for their project leaders to train the additional staff needed and to coordinate the program. If you are selected to be a part of the Healthcare Resiliency Bounce Back Beds project, you will receive, at no cost to you, training in how to initiate and carry out a Bounce Back Beds program in your setting, access to a staff of experienced professionals to provide guidance and support in setting up and carrying out your program, support materials to help give your team creative ideas developed by experienced professionals with Bounce Back experience that will help you better be able to meet the unique needs of your own individual residents. Access to professional consultation as part of your team's meetings to provide you with access to additional ideas. Access to an online resource center to provide ideas and information for creative bounce-back strategies for common problems encountered by older adults that often rob them of their independence. This Healthcare Resiliency Bounce Back Beds project provides a valuable opportunity to take your assisted living program to the next level in being able to offer a new service in helping older adults. We've come a very long way with the almshouses of the 16th and 17th century. So now we're inviting you to be a part of this next step into a better future for older adults and the organizations that serve them.